Yeah, well, you didn't know how to control the canoe.
You better teach somebody else. Ugh. I quit.
Oh.
I quit.
Okay. Well, I guess Grace doesn't want to learn strokes, so I'll teach someone else. My good buddy Timothy. Are you ready to learn, Tim?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let's get into it. So, first, before we start paddling, we need to know how to hold the paddle properly. Tim, do you know how to do that?
Yeah.
Clearly he doesn't. So what you need to do is you got to have your hand, your fist on the throat. Remember where the throat is? And your pinky has to be towards the blade. Yeah, perfect, just like that. So put it out like this. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab, put your palm right on the tee, and then squeeze around. That's all you got to do. And that's how you hold a paddle. It is super important to know that, because you don't want to be in the water like this. That's not good. Palm on the tee, fist on the throat. That's how you hold the paddle. What's up, homies? Before we can get our canoes in the water, we need to learn the most basic strokes. So let's go over them. First stroke we're going to do is called the power stroke. So hold your paddle like you're supposed to, put the blade all the way in, and then pull back towards you. Past your hip and pull it out nice and smooth. Do it again, cut the wind, and then put it back. Keep going straight and do this. Now you don't want to be lifting it out of the water, because that's a waste of energy and it's just messy and noisy. Okay? To show you that power stroke doesn't keep you straight, Tim and I are both going to do power stroke, and we're going to show you what happens. You ready?
What an unexpected turn of events.
What the heck? We went sideways! The next stroke we're going to do is called the draw. And what you do is you lean far out, put the blade all the way in, and draw the water towards you. You're pulling the water. When you get to the hull, kind of slice upwards, and then do it again. Bringing the water towards you, and it pulls you in the direction that you're paddling on. The next stroke we have is called the pry. And what you do is you put the paddle really close to the hull, and then you pry off it. Just like that. Close to the tip, the better. Pry off the gunnels, hence the name pry. What you can also do if you don't want to pry off your gunnels is you put it really close and then push away from the hull. Push away. All right, now that we know the basic strokes, let's get into the more stern-oriented strokes. And paddle. These are important because you never want to canoe on the same side. These are way more efficient, and this way you don't have to keep switching sides. All right? So the first one I'm going to do is called the J stroke, and it's a combination between a power stroke and a pry. So what you do is you do a power stroke, and then when you get to your hip, your thumb on the grip goes down towards the water, and then you push out. So do a power stroke at your hip, thumb down towards the water, and you push out. Now, these are really important because this way you can maintain speed, and you can still steer. The next stroke I'm going to do is called the C stroke. And what you do is you just draw a C in the water. Super easy, nice big C in the water. And that acts as the same as a draw. It pulls you towards the direction that you are paddling on. What you can also do is called the sweep stroke, and this is the one I prefer. So what you do is you gotta change your grip a bit, just come up higher on the throat, put it far out, and do a big sweep all the way towards the tip. It's just a little bit better of a turn, I think at least. It's all up to you though. You may be wondering, when do we use these strokes, JJ? Well, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do the J stroke, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna turn me the direction I'm paddling on. J stroke. J stroke. J stroke. Okay, now I'm going to switch sides, and it should turn me right. Switch me, Timothy. J stroke. J stroke. J stroke. Isn't that handy? All right, now I'm going to show you what the sweep stroke does. I'm going to put it out and do a sweep stroke. It's going to turn me the opposite direction I'm sweeping on. And you can see I'm actually able to keep the straightness, or not the straightness, the speed, and able to turn with these strokes. Alright, I'm going to switch sides, and it should turn me the other direction. Alright, now you know how to steer your canoe. We're going to go over how to prevent yourself from tipping. Here's the situation. Grace is mad now because she got replaced.
What else is new?
So Grace tries tipping him, but Timothy's prepared with the beaver slap.
Take this, Tim.
Excellent. He was able to defend the tipping. Now, what if Grace tries flipping on the opposite end he's paddling on? He's going to do something called a riding pry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So now, Grace is just absolutely ticked, and she's just rocking and rolling. Timothy's going to do something called a low brace. You may be wondering yourself, how did Tim keep his canoe up? And what were the strange things he was doing? Well, let me show you. The first one he did was called a beaver slap. And what he did is that he just slapped the water really hard with the blade of his paddle. So he went really far out. When he's tipping on the right side, on his paddling side, he went, whoa! And he made a nice slap. And then once he was in the water, he pushed down, and that brought his canoe back up, back in level. Well, what if he's about to get tipped on his non-paddling side? Well, he does something called a riding pry. So he'll be tipping this way. He'll put the paddle on his hull, and he'll get tipped, and then he'll pry off the gunnel. So really, whoa! See that? Look how much power I got. Pretty crazy, right? A riding pry. Now, the other one you can do is when it's getting kind of rocky waters, what you do is called a low brace, and that's what he was doing as well. So when the canoe is getting all crazy, what you do is you put the paddle in far out and make sure it's low, kind of flatter to the surface of the water, the better. And then you just kind of try to counteract what's going on. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a lot harder for the canoe to wiggle. Anyway, so that's the low brace, the beaver slap, and the riding pry. It can really save your butt if you're about to tip.
Hey JJ, can I do stern now?
Yeah, you can do stern, but we're gonna have to do something first called a switch. Are you ready to learn that?
Sure.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stand up, turn around, make sure you stay low though.
Oh.
And then come towards the yoke here, and get nice and low. Get on your knees and get like basically your forehead touching the ground. Yeah. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my paddle aside. I'm gonna stand up too. I'm gonna walk right over top of Tim. And now I'm the bow. Cool. Wow, that was so easy. All right, time to go over some bow strokes. So you may be thinking, what other strokes does the bow do besides power? Well, it's true that's mostly what they do. But what if the bow sees a boulder that the stern can't? Because the stern can't see that. What you do is you can do emergency draw or pry, or if you want to get on this side, you can do a cross bow, which is when you put your paddle across the bow and then pull your canoe that way. Or when you're canoeing, you can do, if you want to keep going straight, but you want to turn a bit, you can do an angled draw, which is where you just do a draw, but kind of like at a 45-degree angle, so you're still moving. Isn't that crazy? It's cool stuff. Good to know. Okay, now we're going to do some combining of the skills in order to do pivots and slides. Now, for these maneuvers, you're going to have to use communication. It's very important. Because if I'm doing something, Tim can't see it, so I have to tell him what to do. All right? So Tim and I are going to do a pivot, and what Tim's going to do is that he's going to do a draw, and I'm going to do a draw. Now, if you notice, Tim and I are cutting the waves with our blades. This is called an in-water draw, and it just makes a little bit more efficient of a stroke. Alright, well now Tim and I are too far to the right of you guys. So what we're going to do is called a slide. So what Tim's going to do is he's going to do a pry and I'm going to do a draw. Tim at the front, he's doing an in-water pry. It's just the same thing where he cuts the water. Alright, good job Tim. Now, we're going to do a little bit quicker of a pivot. It's called a hip-to-tip pivot. So what we do is we put our tip of our paddle way out far of our hip, and then we go to the tip of the canoe. Tim will go to the front of the tip, and I'll go to the back tip. All right, ready, Tim? Let's do it. job. Now when doing these maneuvers, it's important to stay in cadence, which just means that we're both doing the strokes at the same time. It just makes it a lot easier and less wiggly and wammily all over the place. All right, Tim, off you go.
Cool, thanks.
You know how to control this thing, right?
Yeah.
For sure, sweet. Oh, Tim, there's a fish on your left side. Oh!
Oh man, how do I get it back up?
Oh, you don't know?
No?
Exactly. You guys don't know. So that's what we're going to teach next video.